I built this slash from a kit and added it to my Spectrum DX5 radio. And I use this receiver from Spectrum because it has the advanced vehicle control. And yes, that's a gyro because I cheat. I made a video confessing my cheater status. We'll try and remember to put a link in the description below. And the slash is more designed for just general bashing around and jumping stuff, and the shocks that come with it are great for that. I put a set of Proline Power Stroke shocks on my associated rat rod when I got back in RC cars, and I've been sold on them ever since. These are the sets that I used on my slash. It's been my experience that Proline shocks are really close to bolt-on speed. And Proline offers spring sets for both the fronts and rears that give you lots of tuning opportunities. I had the bottom mount fall off of a brand new shock from another company once, and the ensuing damage has got me doing this now on all my new shocks. This is just simple, cheap insurance. I got an email from a fellow that was disenchanted with Proline shocks because he wrecked a set of them because he said he didn't know he's supposed to put oil in them. Is how I read the tag that comes on the shocks. I'm going to put 30 weight in the front shocks and 40 weight in the rears. That might change, but this is a good starting point for me. To me, it's most important to make sure we fill the shock up most of the way, work all the air out of it, and then fill it up the rest of the way. Proline got rid of the bleeder caps on these things and replaced it with a bladder that's inside the top cap. Here I have several drops too much oil in the shock. You can see how much it rebounds when you close it. After dabbing a little oil out with a paper towel, and I'll get this little bit of rebound. I consider that to be perfect. It works for me anyway. Proline leaves the top mounting boss open like this so you can get the right shoulder bolt for your application. Yes, you have to buy a couple of bolts, but they're cheap and this is a really clean way of mounting the top of the shock. I run these cars on my own bumpy and very slick dirt oval in my backyard. Mounting the bottom of the shock as close to the wheel as I can get it is always a good idea. From here I'll work at seeing how light a spring I can put on the car and still keep the wheel on the ground most of the time. The RC world had the good sense to license the famous Hoosier dirt tire for our RC cars. These are from Proline Racing. That little blue dot means that they're a super soft compound. People that have raced full-size dirt cars are going to recognize this tread pattern. It's hard to imagine a full-scale dirt car racer that didn't obsess over wheel offsets. Proline Racing includes these various depth wheel hubs so the RC racers can suffer that same kind of obsession themselves. More importantly, once you get the chassis itself figured out, you can use wheel spacing to further tune it. I'll be using these on the fronts, that on the left rear, and that the right rear on my car. And this is the part number for the tires that I'm using on this car. And the hubs are just screwed into the wheels so they're easy to change when you can't decide what offset you want to use. It's dirt racing, it's supposed to be confusing. These are some of the first laps with the new mods to the car, and it's kind of a handful. Adding to the confusion is that this track was flooded just a couple of days ago, so it's way more tacky than it usually is. But when I sort of hit my marks, the slash is getting around the track pretty good. Of course, when I don't hit my marks, then it goes off in the field somewhere. And here we proved that gyro won't fix stupid. And I can still take what looks like a perfectly good lap and go ahead and run it into something. Here I tried increasing the right side spring preload on the shocks, and that turned out to be not such a hot idea. Every once in a while I need to remind myself that increased spring pressure is hardly ever a good idea. Of course, there's always the possibility that it's just me. Maybe not. Here's where side bite and a bump at the same time can really mess up a lap. Of course, I had a car owner once tell me that if I didn't get on my head twice a year, I wasn't trying hard enough. I'm trying. Being able to slow the video down not only looks cool, but it lets me get a lot better look at how the chassis is working and where I might need to make changes. So far the slash seems to really like the new shocks and springs. When I turn in at the right time, tap the brakes at the right time, and let it rotate enough, the slash actually makes a nice line through the turn and carries speed doing it. As I get more consistent, I can turn the ABC down and use even more throttle to get off the corner faster. Of course, having more throttle available means that I can just enter the corner way too fast and forget when to hit the brakes and turn. This is where I wish that ABC really could drive the car for me. So for the time being, I'm just going to log some time on the track and get used to driving the slash. Seeing as how my track is rarely this tacky, I want to let it dry out and get the dry slick back so I can really see how the car is handling. Since my track is usually dry slick, I think it's best that we tune it for that, and then when the track gets wet, we can just learn to drive it for that day. I've got an idea that I want to try to see about getting this chassis a little lower. When we figure that out and see how it works, I will make a video about that also. Until then, we're just going to go fast and turn left a whole bunch of times.